The Wealthy Teacher Show is brought to you by the Philanthropreneur Foundation, building capacity of nonprofits through education, awareness, and resources. Also, Las Vegas Health and Fitness Chamber of Commerce, VegasHealthFitnessChamber.com. Also by Pet Club 24/7. Find everything healthy for your pets at drdance.petclub247.com. And especially the Philanthropreneur Foundation Training Center, 3011 Rigel Avenue, Las Vegas 89102, where you will find Nuts and Bolts nonprofit training every first Tuesday. Also, Fundraising Fundamentals with Linda Lizakowski, Advanced Certified Fundraising Executive. Join us for a Lunch and Learn series every second Thursday at 11:30. And also participate in Philanthropreneur Peer Circle, the first Monday of every month. And I am your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. Some people call me Dr. Dance. But once again, I'm here to present the Wealthy Teacher Show, as I said. Brought to you by the Philanthropreneur Foundation. They are the producers and executive producers of the show, because we bring exciting things in the nonprofit sector, information, knowledge, new guests that bring a wealth of knowledge, and they are our wealthy teachers. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is really a nemesis of many nonprofits. Just recently, I went through a series of events or conversations with several different nonprofits that actually were struggling. This morning, I made a post. Well, what are some of your event challenges? Let me hear about that. But we go and do all of these different events. We have the formal events with the formal setting, real fancy, the gala dinners, or everybody is aware of the silent auction. Oh my God, it takes up so much time and energy just to do a silent auction. Have you heard of the Santa Run here in Las Vegas? It is so much fun. It's brought to you by Opportunity Village. But first of all, we're today going to be talking about that cost per dollar raise, the CPDR. I saw those acronyms. I'm like, what are they talking about? I usually say return on investment. But that CPDR, and that's what how they phrase it in the nonprofit sector, can be just unreal if they really take a look at it. So my guest today is Evelyn Ramos. Yeah, I'm being real silly, but she's an event planner, and we had this conversation. We've had this conversation for over the last few years because you've helped me with events. I've seen and come to some of the events you've done, but we always come back around to, God, why couldn't they have done this or that? Or why didn't they do this or that? But introducing you, you're the founder of A Taste of Neon.
Yes, I am.
That is so unique. Tell us, what is A Taste of Neon?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me over. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. A Taste of Neon is style, dining, and events. We focus on styling your events so the optics are great besides planning it.
Yes.
And then we also have a focus on neighborhood dining. We appreciate and cover and do commentary on neighborhood dining and events that combine those two things, style and dining.
And we all like to eat.
Yes, we all do.
I know. And like to eat in pretty places. So I understand the natural fit and alignment, how that comes together. A while back, I know, and I'm digging into stuff that I know personally. What is a punk event? Remember we talked about those punk, it was where they have real strange topics and things. I think it was called punk. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
I don't recall that, but what comes to mind would be something really modern, something that is appealing to, let's say, the millennial crowd, and I would say something that's very techie, inspired. So there will be a lot of interaction with social media and things like that.
And it was where they dressed up in period.
Oh, we're talking about steampunk.
Yeah. I know it's
Yes,
punk.
yes.
Okay, don't make me feel stupid. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Steampunk. There you go.
Steampunk event.
Yeah.
Yes, where you have the congruence of period dress,
Yeah.
for instance, with technology. So
Okay.
you will think about movies like Mad Max and
Yep.
things like that, right?
Okay.
And they have very defined costumes and very defined style.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a steampunk event.
Yeah, because I know, and I'm dating. This was a couple years. We talked about
Yes,
steampunk,
yes.
and that's okay.
The Cosmopolitan has a series of steampunk items in display.
Okay.
So if you go to the Cosmopolitan, as you are walking around, you will see some sculptures that are deemed steampunk. And there's a very active steampunk group here in Las Vegas as
Okay.
well.
Okay. I knew
Yes.
it was sort of big, and
They're
and-
fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah. So that was just to inform different ideas that could be, I get tired of the galas,
Yes.
silent auction, just the regular same old thing. And with so many events in Las Vegas, because we're the entertainment capital of the world.
We are
Events
indeed.
are happening every day. How can we make what we're looking at unique? But before we even have to get to that, we have to look at just the event planning, which
Correct.
we see often big fails.
Yes.
Zero in terms of what was the goal? What should you have been doing? For example, especially in the nonprofit sector, because that's generally what we're talking about, it goes beyond just giving an event. You have to strategically think about how are you spending your money?
Right.
Is the purpose what you really need it to be, or are you just giving an event? So we've sort of put together some bullet points,
Yes.
and we're going to break it down for you, because you need to think about these things even before you get into the date planning or anything like that, especially for nonprofits. Let's talk about why to give an event. And I sort of broke it down into 4 different categories, and with each one, I'm going to have you chime in just a little bit of from your perspective as the planner, because they have to go hand in hand. So, awareness. Most nonprofits, front of mind, they think, oh, we're going to give an event to raise funds. If no one knows about you,
You're not going to be able to raise funds.
you're not going to be able to raise funds.
Correct.
And so, especially if you're a small or new nonprofit, your first few events should be an awareness event. So how would the planning of an awareness event be different from a gala, or, because I don't consider galas like that as awareness events.
Right.
So awareness, what special touches might you put on an awareness event?
Well, first of all, I think the first step before planning an event is thinking, what is your mission? And what is the goal of that particular event? So in this case, the goal is awareness. We want the community to know who we are and what is our mission.
Right.
So I think the first thing you need to do, first of all, is find out if the rest of the organization is buying into that thought, because you have to have a total buy-in
Yeah.
from everybody, especially if you're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
You're going to utilize them as part of your planning committee and even staff the day of the event. So you need to get a buy-in from them. The first thing is a timeline.
Oh,
How
absolutely.
much time do you have?
Yeah. And so what you're really talking about is strategic planning,
Yes.
which you don't do strategic planning, 30 days out from,
No, ideally no.
and that is, I hate to say it, seems to be a running theme
Yes.
in this city. 30 days out. Oh, let's give an event. It's May 1st. Oh, we can do it May 31st. Hello?
You can. There
Yeah.
are many moving pieces in
Absolutely.
an event.
And most novices, I won't say that they're all nonprofits. It's just if you're not familiar with that sector, that arena, all of those moving pieces, you think just happen. Just
Right.
fall out the sky and happen for you. But they actually have to be mapped out
Right.
and
It's
planned.
like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the minimum time that you could give yourself to put an event is 6 months.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
that's short.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have, again, so many moving pieces and so many people involved that it takes time. Especially if you're a small nonprofit and you're starting out, you need to give yourself as much time as possible.
Because a lot of that time will be spent on marketing.
Yes.
Because if it's an awareness
Right.
event, marketing has to go hand in hand because that's the entire goal, purpose of the event.
Correct.
And you can't market an event in 2 or 3 weeks.
No, you
It
cannot.
just-
You could, but you're not going to get the results that
Yeah,
you really
it
want
won't be effective.
and need. It won't be effective, and you're going to put yourself under a lot of undue stress.
Yeah. And that's where, because I work with boards a lot, I see burnout of board members because of late planning, just throwing things on the table, and then sort of throwing it in the lap of the board. Well, we got to get this done in
Right.
the next 30 days. And
It's very stressful.
it's stressful, and they burn out and end up walking away from the nonprofit, which is sad because I'm sure they had a passion and wanted to be there, but because of poor planning, it just evolved into that. So when I'm working with a nonprofit and thinking about doing events, when they say we have to do this,
Okay.
for awareness, I make them do 4 things because for that nonprofit to reach their goal and purpose, first of all, the guest or whoever comes and within that nonprofit, they need to know what is the cause,
Right.
who are you, what is your brand development in related to that cause. And so the first part of the event, and I sort of break events up into 4 quadrants, you must introduce yourself.
Correct.
You also have to think, so will all of the guests arrive at one time, or will there be a trickle effect where some might come early, and so you have to strategically think, will all of the guests hear that introduction? Does it have to be from a podium and a mic? Should it be in a print material, takeaways, things? What is the program, or of the nonprofit? How do you introduce them? Do you have examples of it there? If it's for children, are you bringing some children to the
Right.
event? Excuse me, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Not mean to interrupt you, but something about awareness. So this is where budget is very important because if you're creating awareness, that is the goal of your event, you have to brand your event.
Yes.
So there are different levels of branding depending on the budget that you have. Is it just going to be signage? Are you going to do banners?
Yep.
And where are you going to place that signage? You can even brand very specifically and very cost effectively by having your volunteers always be present.
Yeah.
Who is going to receive and welcome the people as
Absolutely.
they're coming in? What are we giving out? Are we just giving them a printed 8.5 by 11 paper, which is fine as long as it has all the information
And
needed
information,
and
yeah.
it has colors and things like that. It doesn't have to be a laminated piece of anything,
You're
right?
right.
So that goes along with welcoming the people, capturing their information,
Yep.
as registration, right?
Yeah,
You need
absolutely.
to register. You need to capture their email address, their
Absolutely.
phone number. That's very important.
Yeah.
They cannot walk away of that event without giving you that information. And then you need to have touch points throughout the event.
Yep.
Not only are they going to be greeted when they come in, but you need to have people checking how they're doing throughout the event. Your speakers have to be aligned with the
What you
bringing awareness
Yeah.
of your.
And
of
I'm
your-
glad you brought up those touch points and the specific things about the branding and awareness and even where you put banners. If you're bringing or introducing guests on the stage or however you have it set up, make sure that they know who you are and they will thank the organization. Little
Correct.
simple things like that, just to bring that name front and foremost every time someone picks up the mic. I've been to events where I was there the entire time and never heard the name of the organization.
That's terrible.
And I felt sorry for them because they spent a lot of money on that event, but never heard what was the organization that was doing this event. Why am I here?
Right.
And so just to make sure I get all these points, because you talked about the program, the intro. I was talking about the intro of the programs of the nonprofit, which might be serving youth or whatever.
Correct.
You have to explain that, and then you have to introduce who's the leadership because they become the face of that organization, and that's a real crucial point. So as you're planning out events, because you talked about timing and how are the touch points, do you like to introduce the leaders at the beginning, the middle, the end, or does it vary for the organizer?
It varies. It depends. If you're offering food and beverage, how does that presentation goes with the food and beverage? Are you going to have pas hors d'oeuvres and a champagne toast? And in my head, that would be first, and then you do an introduction. So, in order to get all those points, there's a tool. You have to create a script. You're putting on a show. An event
That's
is
true.
you're putting on a show.
Absolutely.
So as the event planner or as the chairperson of the planning committee, one of the things that I see missing most of the time is that script. I worked in an organization where we called it the minute by minute, and it was a minute by minute.
Wow.
It was from entry to wrap up at the event,
Wow.
and you make multiple copies and you give that to everybody so they don't forget to introduce the board.
Yes.
So they don't forget to introduce the sponsors. So the speakers know that they need to reference and thank the organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't count on people remembering these things. You have to help them, make it easy for them, and you prepare a script. It's very simple.
Yeah.
So introducing when you're going to do things, it flows better, and you get a better picture when you create this.
And some people, unfortunately, might look at, it's just an event. They're trying to micromanage every minute. Well, yeah.
Yes.
If you want it to be successful, and that you make sure that once again you hit all your touch points.
Correct.
That you get all of the elements that need to be there, because it's so easy to let some things fall to the crack if you don't have. Teacher
The
coming
script.
out. I'm going to say curriculum.
Yes, your outline.
Your outline, the story, whatever. Yes. No, it's not really a story, but the script, the outline, and there's even a template where who's assigned.
Correct.
It's an event template. Here's what has to, person in charge, timeline.
And that's part of your script.
Yeah.
That's part of your script. And I have to say, an event planner is a micromanager.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing that particular event, right?
And
it's necessary.
I love, because we have worked together. You were my event planner, and me as the founder, I was thinking the big global stuff.
Correct.
And one time you came, you said, "Don't worry about little stuff. I got that covered. You go do the big stuff."
Correct.
And it was like, it took a weight off, because I was thinking micro. Is this done? Is this done? That's done. You go be
the host,
the
hostess.
Go
Yes.
talk to people. Oh, okay. I don't have to worry about this managing part of this event. And it was such a helpful reminder to me of what my role was.
Yes.
And many organizations, especially when they're small, they try to put on too many hats. But even those specific roles, who is the host for the evening?
Correct.
And so those are important tips that I think, especially small nonprofits that don't have a lot of staff, that's where they have to bring in the volunteers, and that's where training has to come. You have to, and I think you've had pre-event meetings,
Yes, you do. You have a pre-event meeting where you bring everyone that's going to be
all
part.
stakeholders.
Yes, all the stakeholders, everyone that's involved in putting that event, presenting that show to your public. The public has to be involved in that meeting, and you go over the script.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
the script gets revised maybe 2 more times before the event happens. But I understand letting go of the event. It's hard. I've been on both sides. I've been an event planner and a meeting planner. So when you are close to your mission, when you are the founder, when you are the person that brought this baby to life, it's very hard to give it over to someone. But you must trust that you hire the correct person to do the job for you.
Absolutely.
And that's what we do. We micromanage. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
So you can do the big things. So if you're engaging either a professional event planner or someone, a volunteer, someone has come up from the ranks to help you with this, you must trust
Yeah.
that they're doing a good job. So you can relax, have fun, and accomplish your mission, which
Yep.
is to be the face of that particular event. And let the event planner, the micromanager, micromanage.
Let them do their micromanaging, you know. Another point that you mentioned that I want to sort of is first impression, you know, when a greeter. And reason I'm
Very
mentioning that
important.
because I was having a conversation with Heather Phillips, who is with Book Trade Shows, and we were talking about an event that we went to just recently. We won't put them on call. We won't call them out, but from the moment we got there, I called it my enthusiasm meter started ticking down.
That's too bad.
From walking into the facility and not seeing any signage. Okay, so where am I supposed to go? I actually had to go and ask someone that just worked there.
Not good.
And then when I got there, just the person working the desk, oh, you're one of those.
Wow.
Well, no, they had different levels. You know, they had a VIP
Yes.
or regular. You know, so and it was, oh, you're just. And I was like, well, excuse me.
That's unfortunate.
And just what is the event about? Being true and branding it, or really communicating, this is what you're going to get, and then don't do a bait and switch once the people get there. And that happens. Nonprofits, not so much, but sometimes just really letting the public know, come enjoy this and make the event this, you know, really be true to what you're putting out there. You can lose a donor
Yes.
by not greeting them at the door. That's the first step. That's the first touch point. The first impression of your organization is when they walk through the door.
The happy people, we call them.
Yeah, and the happy people are there. It's just like the receptionist who answers the phone.
Correct.
If they, who you want, you know.
It's the first impression
Impression.
of your event.
Yes, and so that element is so important to what's going to happen after it. If they feel welcome, they're going to become more engaged. And when they become more engaged, they become donors,
Correct.
which is the ultimate goal down the line. You know, the event might not have that purpose, but the ultimate goal is fundraising. And so you have to really think about all of those elements.
Well, I think in that one of the obstacles to that mistake, one of the ways to commit that mistake is thinking that it's going to cost a lot of money to have people and that the branding is going to be expensive. Well, you can brand with only a name tag.
Yeah.
You know, you print the logo on the insert and you have a name tag. That person at the door was part of your pre-conference, so they know what is the purpose of them being there. They know the organization's mission. One thing that we did in hotels before the groups checked in, we got pictures from the meeting planner of who were the stakeholders, the VIPs, and everyone that was participating
We've
and
done
that
that,
had
yeah.
to touch that event at some point saw those pictures. They were even in the back hallway, in the banquet hallway. So you could recognize someone. You might not remember their name, but you recognize their face, and you put on a big smile and you say good morning, right? So give those tools, empower your people to greet, to be happy, give them knowledge. This is why we're here. This is why we're doing this event.
Absolutely.
And then they feel empowered to be welcoming because they know what's going on. Some people hold on to information, right? Because they say, oh, well, that person doesn't need to know. Everyone that's involved in the event needs to know.
And I'm always on that little soapbox too, that whomever is involved in your organization needs to know your mission statement and have it embedded in their brain, you know, if someone asks, they can say it. If they're really an important volunteer or server on the board, when they introduce themselves, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm also with the so-and-so
Correct.
organization. It becomes a part of who they are, and it builds loyalty. And in the business sector, it's called brand loyalty and retention and all of that.
Customer
We
retention.
we need the exact same thing. You have to start at that level. In nonprofit, it's called donor-centered strategy. It's all about them. Forget about you.
Yes.
Your cause will be there, but it's all about them. What are their needs, desires? They love to be recognized.
Yes, we all do.
Yeah, and it's just a simple basics of what needs to happen. So we've really covered a lot of ground here. So tell us some more about your service. I'm giving you a little marketing plug here,
Well, we do several things. The preference, of course, is to do what is called turnkey planning.
Okay.
Which is we get involved from the very beginning. We help you find a venue for your event. Whatever venue, it could be a hotel, it could be a house, somebody's house. We negotiate your contract so you can get
The best deal.
The best deal because we know what we're doing, and if we don't, we have resources available. So turnkey is from the very beginning stages all
Do
the
you
way
even
to
help
the
them come
end.
up with the vision or the idea?
Of course, we design events as
style
well.
is part
Yes, yes, because remember, style is part of our tagline. So the style goes into many things. Style is not only fashion, right? It's how you do everything.
Okay.
That's style. So is the food goes along with your theme.
Okay.
Sometimes people think that's hard to do, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
If you're a health-based organization,
Yeah.
you have to have healthy menus,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
And that also goes along with maybe providing cards telling people this is the menu and it's
Okay.
all organic. So all those little details, we can do that for you. We can do on-site event management, which is where you plan it all, and then we just assist you the day of the event.
Okay.
To run.
But still, you need to know that information
Right.
6 months out.
Right. Well, it depends.
Okay.
A pure on-site event management sometimes is 60 days out that you start getting involved, and there are limitations.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
there are certain things that I would not handle if I didn't plan the event from the get-go. Right.
Okay.
Ideally.
Ideally,
Sometimes you just have to help out.
Yeah. So what I want to encourage our listeners to go to. I love your logo too. I just threw it up there on the screen. But a taste
like it
of
too.
neon, the fork with the neon colors going through. You've had that for a couple years, and it's the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, I like that.
Well, my inspiration for that was I've been in Las Vegas 30 years now. Still to this day, it's very hard to find someone born and raised here. So most of us come from somewhere else. So all of us bring our own particular flavor to the city.
Yep.
So that was my inspiration. And I had a great graphic designer who got my concept over the phone
Oh,
because we
wow.
only talked on the phone. He's in New York, I'm here in Las Vegas, and he did exactly what I wanted, taking a bite of the city and
Yep.
trying and trying all the tastes, all the different flavors that we have to offer.
Experience it, the neon. Yeah,
Yes.
and they can find Taste of Neon on Facebook.
On Facebook, yes.
look
Right now.
Right now, just go and become a member. It doesn't cost you just follow them, but you will get all types of tips every week on new restaurants, or somebody went to this restaurant, their impression, new things happening in the city.
Yes.
It's really a valuable tool to find what's happening.
Yes, if you want
I
to know
wanna
what's
say
going on in
off
the city.
strip.
Off strip. My goal is to feature neighborhood restaurants off strip. No one that's on the strip needs my help.
Yeah.
They have big budgets and big marketing staff. So we like the neighborhood restaurants. restaurants. Why? There's so many fine chefs that
Yeah.
left the Strip and came
Okay.
off to the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And you can get the finest meals, budget. You
Yep.
don't have to spend a lot of money to have the nicest meal. I focus a lot on the West Sahara restaurant corridor. That's what I call it.
Okay.
Because you can drive from the I-15 all the way up to the 215 on West Sahara and have a different ethnic meal every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the
So
week.
I'm telling my listeners, go to Facebook and find A Taste of Neon, where you'll find all of the things that Evelyn Ramos, event planner, founder of Taste of Neon, is doing. I want to thank you for being on the show today.
pleasure.
Reach out to her. The easiest way is find her on Facebook. It really is.
Yes.
We're going to continue this conversation because I think we still have some more things. So on our next show, I'm going to be talking about what are the best events for your organization. We talked about branding, but now we're going to talk about your organization. So that is The Wealthy Teacher with Dr. Victoria Boyd. I'll see you next time.